Hello, Movie Mavens. Welcome back to another video on the B Movies channel. My name is Bailey, and I put the B in movies. So right up top, we definitely have something to babble about today. Exactly 1 year ago today, I uploaded the first video to the B Movies channel. And looking back, now here we sit at over 50 videos, almost 50 subscribers, a lot of trial and error later, and I was really nervous to start the channel, I'll just be honest with you, but I've really grown to enjoy it. I've really loved talking to some of you. I look forward to writing the scripts every week, and I like it. And for those who don't know, originally the deal was I was going to give YouTube 1 year, and then we were going to reevaluate after that year and just see, is this for us? Is this something I enjoy doing? Do we want to continue to go in this direction? And after a lot of thought and consideration, I am here to tell you that I'm planning to continue the B Movies channel. Thank you for all of your support. I can't wait to continue this journey with you, Movie Mavens. If you read our anniversary piece, that's not really a spoiler that I am going to continue on. And so here's to more videos, more research, bringing you more reviews, more analog horror series, more pieces of pop culture news to your YouTube notifications once a week. So, on that very cheerful note, I hope that you are having a good week. I am having a very good week. My birthday is 6 days away, which is crazy to think about. That I'm going to be 32, which is wild. Just thinking about things. There's been a lot of things I've been thinking about lately, and that's just crazy. So if you're not having a good week, I hope your week gets better. I hope you're able to do something for yourself, be it even just sitting for 10 minutes, listening to a podcast, doodling, whatever it is to help. So, long story short, happy anniversary, Movie Mavens. Here's to a full year of the B Movies channel, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. So, next up, if you are new here, hi, hello, it's our anniversary. And just to give you a little context, the B Movies channel is a continuation of the B Movies blog, which is just bmovies.blog. It's always linked in the description box below. And so we bring you pieces usually every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can also subscribe to get those directly sent to your inbox. If that's not your jam, they'll be over on the site for you. And this week is actually special because last week, as you know, I've been working on the Lecterverse piece, and it actually came out yesterday. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I really enjoyed writing it. I really like how it finally came out, but we will get to that in just a second. So, Monday over on the B Movies blog, we did a spotlight on Cher. Honestly, it's a little bit embarrassing that it took us 1.5 years of the B Movies blog to get to Cher, but, excuse me, fair warning, I have acid reflux, and so I am sorry. That's why I feel Ashley Simpson and why she had to lip sync on SNL. I feel you, girl. So apologies in advance if I'm clearing my throat or anything. I'm not sick. It's just acid reflux. So, I digress. Talked about Cher. Love her. Funnily enough, I think the spotlight came at the right time because if you've seen the new season of Umbrella Academy, like, you know, and so that was a crazy, wild coincidence. On Tuesday, we talked about Emily in Paris. I watched Emily in Paris for the first time. Emily Cooper, I can't stand her character. I can't stand her character. It's almost like an awkward situation where, like, Jenna sometimes really sucks. And funnily enough, both are MTV productions. So, definitely, there's things I really like about Emily in Paris. I hate her character, but you best believe I will be watching the first half of the new season as it comes out next week. On Wednesday, we talked about movies based on your zodiac sign, and I've actually gotten a lot of really positive feedback on that, and so I just want to thank y'all. I've had some friends reach out. The views on it are very good. I'm really glad y'all enjoyed that one, because that was just one I did on a whim, And I know Elliot loved it as well. So thank you for the positive reception. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I recommend 3 movies based on your zodiac sign. So definitely check out that piece if you haven't. And I don't know if I said this yet, but I also will link all of this week's pieces in the description box below. So next up, we have my review of Trap. I loved this movie. Like, is it a good movie? Objectively, no. But it is so unserious and so Josh Hartnett, like, baby girl with your highlights and living your best 6'3" life, like, you go. And that will be our deep dive today, so we will get into my review of Trap. But this movie was a blast. An absolute blast. On Friday, it was our anniversary piece. So happy anniversary to y'all, like I said, up top. And then finally, yesterday, we released the Lecterverse piece. And if you're not privy to the drama that came with this piece, essentially, so the first thing I had to do before we even got to the piece, I had to get through season 3 of Hannibal, which I write that in the piece. It was hard. Y'all, that first half of that 3rd season was rough to get through. I'm not gonna lie. It was very laborious. But what was happening was I couldn't figure out how to end it. Because there were some funny avenues I tried going down, and, like, I just didn't like how it was turning out, and, like, even for us, it just wasn't sounding right. And so I've been wanting to get this piece out for a couple weeks, but I just couldn't, I wasn't happy with it. And not in the sense of, like, in all of my, I hate to say creatives, but all of my creatives will understand. It wasn't just where you're, like, poking and prodding it and, like, it's perfectly fine. I just wasn't happy with it, and it just didn't feel like B-movies to me. But now I'm happy with it, and so that came out yesterday. So you can enjoy 6 pieces last week, since we only did 4 last week, because the Lecterverse piece, it just was not where I wanted it to be. So this week over on the B-Movies channel, just to recap, Spotlight on Cher, Emily in Paris, movies based on your zodiac sign, our Trap review, which we'll get into in our deep dive, our anniversary piece, and finally the Lecterverse piece. So, moving on to Bite Size Sunday. So, Bite Size Sunday reviews are, and funnily enough, this video, since our anniversary fell on a Sunday, this video will actually be late. But I'm still going to do this week's Bite Size Sunday just because it's a YouTube exclusive and you'll have an idea of what the Bite Size Sunday is, so you can go over and check. But those are just little mini reviews that live on our Instagram. It's just at bmovies channel, same as our YouTube. And perk of subscribing is you get a hint, because we don't post those hints anywhere else. So the hint for today is podcasting can be killer. So be sure to run over to Instagram, because that will be up by the time this video comes up. So be sure to run over there, put your guesses in now, and see if you were right. So that will do us for all of the housekeeping up top. So let's go ahead and get into today's deep dive, which is my review of Trap. So once we were about 10 to 15 minutes in and, like, I caught the vibe, I knew that I had to talk about Trap with all of you in a review and on video. Because this movie, like I said, it's so unserious, it's so goofy, and I have to demand that all of you see it as soon as possible. So, like, first up, we have Hayley Mills, which, you know, Miss, like, Let's Get Together, yeah. AKA, if you don't know Hayley Mills, she was in the original Parent Trap. She was in Good Morning Miss Bliss, which became Saved by the Bell. She is iconic. And she plays, essentially, Dr. Loomis from Halloween 78. So that's your first thing, is she plays an FBI profiler that is very Dr. Loomis coded. Secondly, we have Josh Hartnett, and baby girl Josh Hartnett is looking fine. Fine. Again, we know that I am in my basic white man phase, but Josh Hartnett is looking good. He even got some little highlights, some, like, highlights and lowlight action, like, gone are the days of the infamous haircut from, like, Halloween H2O and The Faculty. And then I also want to say, M. Night, baby girl, it's just us girls here, like, how long have you had that Josh Hartnett poster up on your wall? Because that sexy, like, slightly unbuttoned flannel is telling. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's back it on up. So y'all know I try to be as good as possible at not including spoilers, but sometimes I just have to, for the sake of like giving a complete review, or my critique is with whatever the twist is. But for this one, there's not really anything for me to spoil. And B, the trailer, like, is pretty straightforward. And so, if you want to keep the very silly shenanigans of Trap a secret, just fast forward until we get to our special feature section. But there's not really on this one anything for me to spoil, necessarily. Like, I would consider it very straightforward. So, and in the piece as well, I put a page jump for you, so don't worry. So Trap follows Cooper, who's played by Josh Hartnett, as he and his daughter, Riley, who's played by Ariel Donahue, attend the concert of her favorite artist, Lady Raven, who's played by Salika Shyamalan. And so, before we move on, I do want to give Salika Shyamalan, if I can speak, major props, because she has a beautiful voice. According to the credits, she wrote all of the songs for the film, and she's a very good, if she does play if she does play piano as well, I'm not 100% sure, but if that is her also playing, she's a very talented musician. And she plays Lady Raven, I would say, is kind of like a mix of like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and Lady Gaga. Like, kind of roll them into one. But she does an excellent job. An excellent job in this film, and I just want to give her props for that. Because I think she's an excellent singer and musician, but I digress. So Cooper is kind of like if Dexter was saccharine sweet, but like the sugar coating was also made of Norman Bates's Oedipus complex. That's the best way I can describe how Josh Hartnett plays this character and how they break down this character. And throughout the film, much like Dexter, he, is constantly trying to evade capture, right? But he does it in the goofiest ways. Like, it's comical, some of the things this man does. And it works for the first 2 acts of the film. You're like, okay. And then once we get to the 3rd act, everything goes bonkers. And like, for example, at one point during the 3rd act, a shirtless Cooper bodies a cop and proceeds to gouge his eyes out while actively being tased. And yes, that is a real scene from this film. That is not something I dreamt up. That's not me just using my little creative brain. That's a real scene. So I'll let you sit with that for a moment, give you a second to picture it. Okay. There's also a scene wherein Lady Raven and Cooper do this weird role play where she basically tries to get inside his head as mommy. And it comes across as very, and this may be a very niche scene, but I feel like if you know, you know. It comes across very Heathers coded, because if you remember in Heathers, there's a scene where JD and his dad do that weird role play where JD's dad pretends to be JD, and that weird scene when he, brings Veronica home. That's very much what this scene feels like. Yeah. But I have to be very honest and tell you, I would watch an entire franchise with Cooper, and I'm being so serious. Because, like Twisters, I loved how unserious this movie was. I would put it in a similar camp to Twister. I think Twisters is, a better movie, but it's, again, the continuation of, let's just have a good old time at the movies theme that we're kind of starting to see pick back up. I personally don't see a world where M. Night Shyamalan took this movie seriously, and I remember seeing, I think he was releasing on his Instagram account, or maybe the Instagram account for the movie in story somewhere, I distinctly remember him saying, he laughed when he finished this script. I'm pretty sure he's on the record as saying, he laughed when he finished it. Not 100% sure. I don't think I made that up. But if that is true, I agree. And also, let's keep up this trend of like turning 80s and 90s teen heartthrobs into baddies, like we did with Patrick Dempsey in Thanksgiving, like we saw with Dermot Mulroney in Scream 6. Like, I'm here for this trend. Like, let's keep it up. Let's see if Tom Welling's available. I mean, he already did Lucifer, so why not? You know, he did Lucifer, he did the Winchesters, which the supernatural universe is something that I'm like not super big into. Like, I watched some of it with my mom when I was in high school, like maybe the first season or two. I'm not big into it, but I did watch Lucifer. Absolutely watched every episode of Lucifer, including the musical episode that was very much just like adult glee. So somebody get Tom Welling in something. Somebody get, you know, somebody start getting these teen heartthrobs that I grew up with. Let's start putting them in horror movies, because so far we're like 3 for 3 in my book. So I would be doing a disservice though if I didn't give you at least a couple of sentences of a serious review, right? Because we've had a lot of fun here. But like, my overall takeaways are, is it a good movie? No. But was I entertained from front to back, from opening credits to ending credits? Yes, I was. And I think, again, that's something to keep in mind with movies, is movies are allowed to just be fun. And that's why I said I would watch an entire franchise with Josh Hartnett as Cooper. Are you kidding me? Like, let his beautifully highlighted hair float in the wind while he pretends to be a disheveled barista and a member of the SWAT team. Give me an entire series with this man who is clearly ridden with mommy issues. Give me a reason to Google how tall Josh Hartnett is. He's 6'3", by the way, because he towers over everyone in this film, and I don't know if that was intentional or not. Give me more silliness, like Trap. Like, and M. Night Baby Girl, I still help you kiss that Josh Hartnett poster every single night. Because there is a shirtless scene of that man that is a long shot for no reason. And I appreciate your hustle. But we need some silly stuff sometimes. We need movies like this that, like, I would go see it again in a heartbeat with someone. If they were like, have you seen Trap? I would say, yes, but let's go. I will buy the tickets. Let's go. And also, just to leave us on, like, a fun fact / bit, for my eagle-eyed movie mavens, towards the beginning of the film, keep your eyes peeled, because there's absolutely a billboard for The Watchers, which is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's film, that we also reviewed in the background in the beginning of the movie. So, that is Trap. I definitely recommend checking it out. I think it's fun. I think that there are some people that are not. It's like Twisters. There are going to be some people who don't like this movie and are like, this was the biggest waste of my time. But if you are looking for something, if you're like me, where like you love analyzing movies, but you also just love movies, period, you're going to have a very good time with this movie. It is very silly. It is very goofy. And Josh Hartnett just so unserious, and I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and move on to today's special features, which, if you're new to the channel, again, this is reserved for analog horror series. It's reserved for horror ARGs, updates on our favorite analog horror series and horror ARGs, and just things I want to talk about that I may not necessarily write about. It's just another perk of subscribing to the YouTube channel. You get content over here that you don't get on the bmovies blog or Instagram. So, today I want to start out with a big one, which is the McKinney family home videos. Several creators I follow have been covering this analog series. I know Rob Gavigan, who is the creator of Greylock, he recently watched through it. Baz watched through it. And so it's finally time to talk about it here over on B-Movies. So, if you're not familiar yet, because I've seen some people cover it, but I think it's still, like, kind of pushing its way up to the mainstream, but I think it is getting more and more seen. The McKinney Family Home Videos, it's an analog horror series, and it's tapes released from 1989 to like 1998 are the dates of the tapes. And within these tapes, we learn about what appears to be a terrifying cult or religious organization who appear to worship a horrific and supernatural entity. And I'll be honest with y'all, this series is terrifying. Like, we know it takes a lot for stuff to get under my skin. Like, I'm not easily spooked, but this is like Dog Nightmares. This one gets under my skin a bit. There were several parts that got under my skin. And it just did. And if you want to, like, have maximum scariness, I would watch it with the lights out. To be honest with you, I was not that brave. Like I said, it's crawled under my skin. But this is one that you need to put your phone down and you just really need to pay attention to. And that will be that's my big piece of advice. So, I did some research on the McKinney family home videos. And I came across, first and foremost, the creator's Reddit. I couldn't find their actual name. So we're going to say Nkotrufu92. I am so sorry if I mispronounced your Reddit username. I just want to give you major props for this series. I don't want to spoil anything for y'all on this one. This is one where I really don't want to dive in. I really want you to watch it for yourselves. But, the creator also responded to a comment on Reddit, and I fully agree with this. I would watch it twice. I would watch it the first time in upload order, and the second time chronologically. So look at the dates and watch it in that order. The creator has also announced on Reddit that not only will the series be continuing, but they'll be taking the McKinney family tapes to festivals, and it will be recut. It'll be cut together with a different intro. And he also, I'm gonna say they, actually, just to make sure, because, you know, I want to be respectful of people's pronouns. But they said that they're in early talks with a distributor, as well as collaborating with a friend for, like, a VHS release version this fall. I think it's awesome. I think if you love Greylock, Dog Nightmares, or even the VHS movies like I do, minus VHS Viral, we just don't talk about VHS Viral, I'd highly recommend checking this one out. Or just to be honest, if you're a big analog horror fan, I would check this out. Because this one is good and this one is very special. Y'all know that I am a huge analog horror fan. I sometimes get through the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I can't wait to see how this one progresses, and I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of, like, the theatrical version. So, I'm very excited. So, I will link the channel below. I will link those Reddit posts that I talked about below. And just major props to Nkotrufu. I'm so sorry, again, if I am mispronouncing your name at all. But major props on this one. This one's very good, and this one did get under my skin a bit, and I don't know if it's because we all know, like, religious stuff sometimes, like, kind of messes with me because I grew up in the Bible Belt, and so I don't know if it's that. I don't know what it is about this one, but this one kind of made my skin crawl. So, definitely check it out. I'll link everything below. So, next up, this is a fun one. A YouTube channel has recently popped up for everyone's favorite triangular baddie from Gravity Falls on the heels of the release of Alec Hirsch's new book, Book of Bill. The channel currently sits at 2 videos and 1 short. The first video is the sound of Bill laughing for several seconds before saying that'll be $9.99, and then the phone hangs up. In the second one, Cypher is Real. It mimics, like, an old-timey church revival, like an altar call and a testimonial, wherein we hear more about, like, Bill's sinful exploits. However, if you click on the playlist on the channel that's called To Get Your Ears Bleeding, there's another video that's a full version of We'll Meet Again, which we all know, like, in my head, We'll Meet Again is synonymous with Everyman Hybrid and, like, other analog horror films. But it features some of our favorite Gravity Falls characters, and, you know, there was the scene between Bill and Ford where Bill sings We'll Meet Again. So that's a really fun touch. But one thing I do want to note is that Book of Bill is meant for an older audience. So it is more of, like, an adult horror novel, And I even confirmed that. I looked through reviews on Amazon, and that's what everyone is confirming, that it is for an older audience. So I do want to mention that, because I know that Gravity Falls was more so for everybody. This is more of an adult horror book, so I just want to, like, make that known. And I'm very excited because I happen to know that I will have a copy for my sister at Christmas, and so I can't wait to crack that open. And I also want to mention, so the short on the channel depicts Bill in a horrifying way that we've never seen him before, and I will say, be prepared to be jump scared. So, that's just a heads up. But whether this is just promo for Book of Bill, the start of something bigger, or just kicks and giggles, I'll always be excited to see anything from Alex Hirsch, especially when it comes to Gravity Falls. Y'all know Gravity Falls is one of my favorite shows of all time. I loved it. It was a big comfort show for me during lockdown, when I got my mom's cancer diagnosis, and so I love it. Mabel's on my tattoo list, and so I will link the Bill Saffer channel below, and I'm just excited to see what else we get from this channel. So finally, for today's special features, we have the Walton Files Season 1B trailer. So episodes 4, 5, and 6 of the Walton Files are officially on the way, and judging by the trailer, there's still a lot more story for us to uncover. And Martin, I know I say this every single time, but the animation just keeps getting better and better with each entry, and I truly can't wait to see what you've cooked up for us in these upcoming episodes. And so I will link to the Walton Files channel below, as well as the trailer, so you can take a look for yourselves. And now I feel like would be a good time to be caught up if you missed the last entry. So finally, let's talk about our subtitles for this week. Subtitles are just little pieces of pop culture news from around the internet that I want to share with all of you that I find delightful. Sometimes it's not delightful, but, it's just stuff I want to share with you. So first up, Fanta has announced that it will be releasing special edition cans for Beetlejuice that feature all 5 of the main characters on various flavors, including a limited edition flavor for the ghost with the most himself. So you could say the juice is loose, which I have been saying every single time I've talked about these cans, because Fanta, why are we not saying that? Hi, hello. The marketer in me, there's an opportunity here. A live-action Batboy series is in production for Netflix from Roberto Aguiar Sacasa. I practiced this because we all know I get on camera and forget how to speak. And Joe Treyes. I'm excited. I love the Bat Boy musical, which if you're like, what are you talking about? There's a Bat Boy musical. So I'm excited to see how this goes. John M. Chu is set to direct the film adaptation of Britney Spears' biography, The Woman in Me. I've seen people floating around Micah Monroe to maybe play Britney, and I don't know if I'm mad at that. James Wan will be directing a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, which, y'all know, that is one of my favorite Universal horror movies. Like, that and Bride of Frankenstein are probably my 2 favorite Universal movies. But after the direction he took with The Invisible Man, I'm really intrigued to see what his take on it's going to be. Obviously, I have my reservations, but I would say cautiously optimistic at worst. In very exciting news, an animated Evil Dead series is on the way, with Bruce Campbell set to voice Ash, which, like, we know I love animated series, so very excited. The script for National Treasure 3 does, in fact, set the stage for Nick Cage's character to return to the series. So, interested to see that. Rob Lowe claims that a sequel to St. Elmo's Fire is in very early stages of development. That doesn't surprise me, given the success of the documentary that Andrew McCarthy just did. That doesn't surprise me at all. And then finally, on a sad note, RIP to Charles Cyphers, who played Sheriff Brackett in Halloween 78. He played Dan O'Brien in The Fog, and other notable roles. RIP to him, and his family. Okay, let me back up. That sounds horrible. RIP to him, and I want to wish his family prayers. Okay, let's back it on up. My brain just stopped. Okay. I want to wish his family my condolences and, thoughts and prayers, all of the things you say, but I genuinely mean it. Like, I hope his family's okay and are dealing well with his passing. There we go. Now that my brain started working again, my goodness. So, I think it's time to wrap it up on that note. I just want to give a huge shout out to Elliot, as always, for going on this big adventure with me, because couldn't do it without her, truly. I know that I am the one who's on camera, but without her editing, she is the one I run everything by. Elliot always has great ideas, and so I just want to give a huge shout out to her. Up top, happy year anniversary to you as well. Happy 1.5 year anniversary to the B Movies blog. And just a shout out for being my partner in crime. So thank you very much, Elliot. So on that note, be sure to follow us on Instagram, just at bmovies channel. Same as our YouTube. They're the same handles, just a heads up. And it's always linked in the description box below, by the way. Everything I'm saying right now is always linked in the description box below. So if you don't catch our handles or anything, it's all down there for you. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'm just at Lisa_Frankenstein_. Follow Elliot at reading.with.red. Be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. It's free. We're at 49 subscribers. I'd love to see us hit 50, baby. Give us a like if you feel so inclined, and leave a comment if you're feeling frisky. Also, I'm hoping the sound sounded really good when I tested it today, so I think I have finally figured out what the issue is. So, hopefully the sound's better, and if not, thank you for being patient with us. And so, on that note, I think all that's left to do is fade to black.